Be thou my vision, O Lord of my heart, not be all else to me, say that thou art High King of heaven, thou art.
Hey, wanna play hide and clap?
What? Man. Well, this put me to sleep. Man, was this fucking boring. The first of the Conjuring spin-offs. A boring piece of shit. Here we go. So it's Don G. Corleone here, and I am here with a brand new episode of Halloween Horror Review 6, and this episode is going to be for the first of the Conjuring spin-offs, 2014's Annabelle. The first of all these spin-offs, and made literally rushed a year after The Conjuring, because The Conjuring was successful. And guess what? You remember those three people that were interviewed about the doll in the beginning of the film? The movie's not about them. It's not about those people. No. So what's the actual plot of our so-called prequel to The Conjuring? So, John Form found the perfect gift for his wife Mia, this beautiful vintage doll in a pure wedding dress. But Mia's delight with Annabelle doesn't last long. On one horrific night, their home is invaded by members of a cult who attack the couple. Spilled blood and terror are not all they leave behind, and so the cultists conjured an entity so malevolent that nothing they did will compare to the sinister conduit to the dam that is now Annabelle. Yeah, that's what it's about instead. It's about a couple that have no connection to The Conjuring. So yeah, as my reaction, the first spin-off of this series. Here's what happened. Conjuring 1 made money, so let's rush a spin-off about one of the things from that movie, so let's make a spin-off of the doll. Rushed it right after The Conjuring was a huge hit, because Warner Bros. Knew, hey, we have a horror franchise on our belt now. So, here we had beginning of all these follow-ups, beginning with the doll you saw glimpses of throughout the first film, getting its own movie. People were hyped for it when they saw the trailers. And then it came out. Guess what? The movie sucked. The movie was fucking boring. Like, this film was so boring. I almost fell asleep watching this. Like, there was nothing scary. It was not even about the people being interviewed about the doll from the first film. Oh, it basically didn't feel like there was much Annabelle scenes. Mostly just scenes of this mother being worried about her baby, this couple talking, the doll mostly not really doing a lot. There was barely anything scary about this film. This film was only made because it wanted to capitalize on the box office of The Conjuring. That's why. There was no reason. Just because The Conjuring is successful, so let's make a cash grabs follow-up. And make a cash grab spin-off of one of the artifacts from it. And barely even feel like it's even connected to The Conjuring at all. Like, you think it would be about the three people being interviewed? No. It's not about them. They're only in the beginning scene, and you only have one scene where the woman buys them that doll, and they're never seen again. You would think it'd be about them. You're about this couple instead that weren't even referenced in The Conjuring. So yeah. How was this film made? So, it's a spin-off and prequel to the 2013 horror film The Conjuring. It was going to be focusing on the origin dolls of the Annabelle doll found in that film. It was designed to be a standalone, but it also collectively catered to fans of The Conjuring. Then got announced in November 2013 that our director of the film, John R. Leonetti, was attached as director. This was the first in a strategy of distributors Warner Bros. And New Line to capitalize on the built-in fan bases for successful films, with smaller budget and production time with a payout in the end. Yeah, it did not go well. Casting got announced in January 2014 with Annabelle Wallis and Warwick Horton playing the lead roles, and actors Eric Glenn, Brian Ho, and Alfred Woodard being announced that month. Then filming began on January 27, 2014 at the Bookshop in Covina, California. Then in February 2014, it continued at an apartment in Los Angeles and South Normandy Avenue, where this member crew shot for several days, and director Leonardo, producers Safran told reporters that the Annabelle set was haunted because they thought supernatural stuff occurred there. Really? And it was shot in sequence that the actors were aware of their emotional arcs. What emotional arcs? The characters weren't interesting. There was nothing I cared about either of them. But after the film was shot and marketed, the Annabelle would first premiere at the TCL Chinese Theater on September 29, 2014, would be released into theaters to the public on October 3rd, 2014. And guess what? The film got negative reviews, but regardless, it didn't stop the film from being a major success at the box office because it made over $257 million worldwide and on a $6.5 million budget. So, in a way, what it did allow us to get a much better follow-up in the vein of a prequel film called Annabelle Creation, which will be the next episode. So thankfully there is that. But sadly, we're not going to be talking about this film in this episode. We have to talk about the shitty first one. Yeah, we have to talk about that one instead. Alright, here are the bad qualities in the story of Annabelle. Why it doesn't work, why it's boring, why it's not scary. So yeah. Now, this is a film that people thought they probably would like. But then the movie came out, they didn't like it. Because it is astonishingly terrible. Like, this came after a critically acclaimed film called The Conjuring, and it's nothing like that movie. It's just a cash grab, and a terrible one at that. Because it was only made because The Conjuring made money, so they wanted to capitalize on The Conjuring. There is no tension throughout the movie. There's no suspense. Like, all you get are just close-up of the doll's face, long periods of time where, yeah, nothing happens. Most of the film is either this couple you don't care about at all. There's stupid problems that you care even less about. Nothing much really happens to them. If they're trying to build suspense, but to build suspense, like, you actually need to care about the characters. Give us a reason you care about the characters if you want to build suspense. Don't make these couple that just have bland facial expressions, or just either look like they don't like each other, or literally have no connection to the plot of The Conjuring at all, because they were never mentioned in the other films. The doll really just sitting there most of the time doing really nothing, and rarely doing any movements. Just constantly zooming in on its face. Or referencing a cult all the time. Oh yeah, barely have any scares, to the point where you just want to fall asleep. Try to have a lingering sense of danger. What does this have? Nothing. And a finale that doesn't even feel impactful at all. The movie tells way too much in the first couple of minutes, starts off at a sluggish pace despite the 98-minute runtime, like nothing even happens for like the first hour. There's missed opportunities where scary things could be done, but the director didn't want to do that. So he tries to build tension, create mood by having Mia move around slow, and starts to get so annoying. Like, this film was so bad and so boring that this felt like I was just watching if the Annabelle doll appeared in a scary movie entry. If it did, this is how it probably would go. like even the acting. Yeah, horror films don't need to have Oscar-level acting, but be at least functional enough, at the least. The actors here, like, the couple's faces are so wooden throughout the film, and, like, seriously, like, they don't have much facial expression, they barely act terrified. And, like, especially because whenever the film tries to be scary, there's nothing really scary about it, and the scares feel so soft and down. There's like two scenes that try to be creepy and unique, and guess what? Like, the rest of the film, the rest of the scares are just horror cliches you already know of. The doll with creepy music, this woman walking past a doorway, or a little girl walking past the doorway. The way they place the shots of the scenes is so obvious, like you're looking for where the scare is supposed to happen. And right here, you just get lazy filmmaking. It's like it's like whenever they were trying to think of this film being made, they just tried to think of every horror trick they could think of, and they just dumped it to the big screen so they could get the movie Rush right away. That's why. So, how do we start off the film? So, basically, we start off with that interview of the three who are affected by the doll in the first Conjuring, the beginning of that film. And it's at first you think the film's going to be about those three. What happened before that? It's going to set up the events of the Conjuring. No, it's not. Like I said before, it's not about them. The movie doesn't want to be about them. Instead of actually like, because it doesn't want to be about characters that actually had a connection to the first film. Set up the first film. You think it would be about that? No. Isn't that the point of a prequel, to set up the first movie? Isn't that the point of a prequel? But it seems like it's trying to be its own thing. Like, this was clearly supposed to be a standalone thing at first, but they clearly just wanted ideas from The Conjuring so they could make money off of this. Like, they put Annabelle in the film. You don't get much Conjuring references. And hell, this is supposed to be set in 1967, and guess what? Most of this film does not even look at all like 1967. This literally looks like modern day. A lot of the sets literally look like modern day California 2014, because that's when the film came out. So yeah, we start off the film in 1967, where John Form, one of our main protagonists that apparently we're supposed to care about, presents this wife, Mia, with this rare vintage doll as a gift for their first child. He placed in a collection in their daughter's nursery. Like, most of the film, like, you don't care what happens to them. Like, their chemistry is poor. They kind of even argue for most of the first half. Like, I got pregnant because of you, or like, stuff like that. It's like they barely act like they love each other. And then he gets that doll, and that's how our film starts off. Like, it's obvious from here. James Wan's talent is gone. Like, everyone knows that the doll more or less is inanimate in the film, which is a smart move. Like, yeah, so having the doll not move around much would be a smart move, but what they do here, like, it's just executed so poorly because there's barely anything that happens. Like, you're trying to be scared of something, you won't be scared. You would just be, if you do plan on watching this film and have not seen it yet, despite the fact it's been out 11 years already, you'd be disappointed as hell. Like, even, like, the little jump scares that happen, they get worse and worse. Like, this is a film that basically just steals plot elements from Paranormal Activity and Insidious, zero originality. Because guess what? This new couple as our characters of a horror movie. During this time, this couple experiences hauntings one day when they get to a new place and stuff, and they have to have a psychic help them or something like that. They have to escape this haunting. That's the plot of both those films. It's nothing new you have seen before. Same exact shit. How lazy are you? Then they just randomly try to rehash The Conjuring to make people that love The Conjuring go watch this film when it came out, because they wanted to make money off The Conjuring fans. So you pit them against supernatural forces and yada 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 yada. Nothing happening, just boring shit. Almost like waiting for something to happen and nothing does. Like, why couldn't the director just take some risk and change the storyline up, or actually be about the three characters being interviewed about the doll? I would have liked to see that story. But no, like, they try to stick with what worked before, but instead, they just rehash the same stuff without even realizing why it worked so well in The Conjuring. And of course, then around some point in the film, you enter this random old black lady old black lady psychic who adds really nothing to the story, and it's even irrelevant to the plot. It's like, you never find out how she got involved with the paranormal. All you do is you find out that her daughter passed on, and why she involved herself in the troubles of this family. Other than that, nothing much. Nothing much about her. You don't know anything about her. So later on, the couple ends up seeing the news about the murders of the members of the Tate couple and the Manson family. The couple get disturbed by the sounds of their neighbors being murdered during a home invasion. Then when Mia calls the cops, they get attacked by the Higginses killers, but then the police arrive and they shoot one killer dead, and the female killer kills herself while holding the doll. So they identify the assailants as the Higginses' estranged daughter, Annabelle, and her boyfriend, who are members of a cult. And Annabelle's blood falls on the doll's right eye, and it reveals that she's been possessed. So that's how the doll got possessed, people. It's basically just about how the doll got possessed. That's why. Like I don't need to know. The thing about the Conjuring was you didn't need to know how the doll got possessed. We don't need to see how this doll gets possessed. Thankfully, Annabelle Creation does kind of disregard this and kind of fixes and kind of does a different origin. But we're not reviewing that film, sadly. So, following the attack days later, some more paranormal activities occur around their residence. So, Mia gives birth to a baby girl. They name it Leia. And they go to an apartment, and then they find a doll in one of the boxes, and more paranormal events than plague Mia and her daughter. This is basically doing the cliches of Insidious. Doing the scene of Insidious where, Rose Byrne's character is being haunted, and her and Patrick Wilson's baby child both being haunted by the paranormal events that are going on in the house when they think the house is haunted, until they had to find out that Dalton was pretty much the one haunted because he was in a coma. It's basically copying that. It's basically copying that subplot. It's basically copying that. Except basically this time doing it very lazy. And basically if it was boring this time. The thing is, in Insidious, shit actually happened. Shit actually happens in Insidious. Nothing here does. There are bad cliches that a good horror film, if you were trying to make this good, you would avoid cliches like this. Jump scares that really feel way too soft and really just go nowhere. Here's the thing. This couple doesn't even know how to destroy a doll. Here's how, no matter how hard they try, if those efforts don't work, how about smash it to pieces? Stomp on it. Smash it with a hammer. Shred it. Throw it in the garbage dump. Take it to the dumpster. Take it to the barge. Throw it in the ocean. Do that. So much. Here's how to destroy a doll. And then eventually a local priest helps them out. But demons inside dolls apparently come in place, and devices apparently turning on themselves. Wow, how scary that is. Where have we seen that before? A gazillion fucking movies? Yeah, Mia running around in the dark for about half the film. Literally, seriously. If you cut out the most of the first half or 30 minutes out of the middle or stuff, and no one would notice a thing. We could have seen some cult activity with this cult, see the doll do something horrific, but this wants to say $6.5 million, so let's just get a bad script, actors that can't pull their roles off, have wooden facial expressions, and basically don't act like they love each other at all. Just nothing. Basically wasting people's time, wasting their money on a spin-off that basically did not set up the Conjuring at all. That's the thing. Even if this has the Annabelle doll, you could literally take out the Conjuring name and call this anything else. You would literally miss. It would not matter because, for one, this barely feels like it has a connection to the Conjuring. That's some of the problem with some of these spin-offs. They barely feel like they have any connection to Conjuring. They only feature some of the stuff from the films so they can make money off of the fan base. That's the thing. Majority of the spin-offs. So Mia calls this detective that handled our original case of the whole doll and learns that apparently the cult wants to summon the spirits. So, with the help of this bookseller and tenant named Evelyn, that basically little about. There's little about her character she feels useless in the film. She finds out the cult apparently practiced this thing called devil worship and summoned a demon that followed the family when they moved to their apartment so they could claim his soul. So, when they get home, both mom and daughter this demon attacks both of them. And it reveals itself and even manipulates a doll to move around. This is most of the time you see the doll do anything. Really, this is the only really scare scene that really involves the doll. So they contact Father Perez, and he tells them that demons sometimes would attach themselves to objects to achieve the goals. A human soul was offered for a purpose, so Father Perez takes the doll because they're unable to exorcise the demon to try to go to the warrants, and you think maybe, I don't know, maybe it's gonna finally connect to the Conjuring after so many boring, pointless snorefest minutes of a bunch of pointless paranormal investigation, just trying to steal from Insidious, steal from Paranormal Craptivity. And guess what, though? When he's about to enter a church, though, that it's like, no, we don't want to be about that still. We don't want to finally be better. We still want to be shit. So, the demon impersonates Annabelle's spirit, and so it attacks him, and the demon grabs the doll. And that's the thing, the doll it's supposed to be about is another problem with the movie. Like, all it does, like, unlike the scare factor it had in The Conjuring, the doll just sits there. A lot of the times, the doll doesn't really do a lot. The doll doesn't feel scary in this film. Like, they could have actually had the doll do shit. Other than like a few minor bits, it doesn't really do a lot. Most of the time, it's the demons in the cult doing this shit. Like, the one scene it had was effective in The Conjuring because of how realistic it felt. Like, when that doll moved around, you actually got to see it move on its own. And when it attacked the warden's daughter, that I felt. That was scary and effective. It was real. It came out of nowhere. This is just like... So, like, here's the thing. With this film, imagine a horror anthology. An episode of a horror anthology. A shitty one, How about be one of the shittier VHS segments? Second Honeymoon. Be like one of those. Or the wraparound from the first film. Or the Eyeball segment from VHS 2. Or Parallel Monsters from VHS Viral, or Empty Wake from 94, or Shredding from VHS 99, or Techno God from VHS 85, or Fur Babies from VHS Beyond. Be like one of those. And if you extended that and turned one of those into movies, you'd get the results with this, where not much would happen in them. You learn nothing at all. Just a bunch of the same old lazy cliches from other horror movies, thrown in, for the purpose of seeing what sticks. Make an underdeveloped story, characters with wooden facial expressions, characters you don't give a fuck about, a plot that doesn't utilize. Maybe some commendable cinematography, production design, but they don't really compensate the lack of genuine horror. And that's the thing. I don't know why, here's the thing though. This came out, this wanted to hype up people who loved the doll scene in that film because it would be getting its own movie. They thought they'd be watching something terrifying. It would become a must-watch film. It would become the scariest movie of the year. Instead, they walked out feeling ripped off and feeling disappointed. Because there was nothing but bore. I kid you not. Most of the film, I was literally like this. I was about to fall asleep watching this fucking movie. Oh my god. See, this is the thing. This is the problem with a lot of horror films. Back then, whenever they would get praise, when they would become so successful, studios get greedy. And they decide they want to rush a bunch of follow-ups and rush a franchise right away. The next year after the first film. And they ignore what made it work. Instead, they try to take some of the more intenser moments and try to ramp up all of that. And rush it out a year to make money off of it. To make the fans go see it. And rip them off. It's happened a lot of times. And that's one of the things I fucking hate when horrors get sequels. Sometimes they barely think about what worked. Instead, they basically rush all the more iconic moments, and they don't feel iconic, or just interfere with the director's vision. This has happened with stuff like the Blair Witch Project was successful. Guess what? Artisan got greedy. The director said no to a sequel, or didn't want to make a sequel for a while, but Artisan wanted one right away, so they basically decided to rush it. And guess what? Even the director wanted a more self-aware movie, like a Wes Craven style movie. that would capitalize and make fun of the Blair Witch Project in a way. He wanted it to be like that movie. Instead, artists wanted more gore, more nudity, more sex, more drugs. So basically, they made a film that made no sense. And that was Book of Shell's Blair Witch 2, and it bombed. And the director, Joe Berlinger, hates that fucking film. That was not even his vision he wanted to even do. That was not the movie he wanted. And then Hills Have Eyes remake, successful, guess what? Fox rushed a sequel straight away, and that sucked. And it bombed. Like, that's another thing. That sequel had the potential to be great. He had a great idea where the SWAT you think the SWAT are going to go and kill the fuckers. They even had an original plot idea where one of the Carr family members was actually going to go with the SWAT and actually destroy them. It could have been like Aliens. You could have had Aliens with Hills of Eyes 2, but no. You make the SWAT people morons, college losers, who you just want the mutants to kill, and you learn some really gross shit about the mutants that you don't want to know, you don't want to see them do. Yeah, like, that was a problem. Like, remember the rape scene in the 2006 remake? Well, Hills of Eyes 2 basically takes more of that, and they make it much more disgusting and worse. So yeah, that's basically a sequel that's just nasty, revolting, and basically doesn't really do any kind of triumph whatsoever. Like, and that's another thing. Saw even rushed all its sequels, like, for the whole 2000s era. Saw 2 worked. Saw 3 did fine, but then they got worse. Saw 4 was not good. Saw 5 was terrible. Saw 6 was slightly better, but still not great. Saw 3D was a piece of shit that can basically go blow off in the incinerator where it belongs. And for a while, it wasn't even the last because they made more. Which, while Jigsaw was better than Saw 3D, but even that still didn't work. Spiral, to me anyways, well, not everybody else. To me, it was actually kind of good. But sadly, a lot of people disagree with me on that. Saw X was definitely much better than I thought. I will admit that. And yeah, and they're also doing it with the whole shitty Strangers trilogy now, which, yeah. So anyway, we're like 26 minutes in. Let's wrap this up so I can go make dinner soon and get ready for work tomorrow. We get on with the finale now. So, Father Perez has been hospitalized because of this. When John checks on him, the priest warns him that the demon's intention, it wants Mia's soul. It wants their daughter. Or it wants his wife or whatever. That night, so Eveline, the book lady, you don't know much about at all. You don't know how she's connected to all this paranormal stuff. She's visiting Mia, and the demon uses the physical form to go in the apartment. A duck layer for Mother's soul is like, "You'll all burn!" Like, just shuts the door on him. And so, it's spare Dar Mia. So it's spare Dar. So Mia decides that she's going to jump out the window and kill herself with the doll. But John legally needs to stop her, like, don't do it. Every mother needs to be with their own child, so I'm gonna do it. So Eveline takes her own life in Mia's place, because apparently she caused a car accident that killed her daughter. So she jumps out and she dies. She lies dead on the road, and a demon and doll disappear. They never see or hear the doll ever again. And Leia's safe inside her crib, and so they visit Father Perez again, and then they leave the church. And of course, then you get a reference to, you get this build up to the whole, finally get this build up to those 3 characters from the beginning of the first Conjuring who got the doll. And this mother bought the doll from an antique shop as a gift for her daughter. And then, of course, guess what? Before anything can happen, it's over. The end. So no, you never get to see it. Just when you think you're going to finally see how this all went down, movie's like, nah, fuck that. We don't want you to see that. So, it's like, then it says in text, the doll got placed in the Warrens' artifact room in a glass case, and a priest blessed it twice a day. It's then seen stored and locked away in the glass case. The end. Thank you for wasting 98 minutes. A boring 98 minutes where nothing happened. Nothing you would expect to happen never happened, or guess what? The movie doesn't let you see it. Instead, being about this couple that were never mentioned, you never cared about, and ripping off just trying to be a wannabe Insidious. That's how it all ends. And depending on your point of view, the family's fine, the doll's gone by the end, but it's only after Evelyn commits suicide offering her soul to the demon, so everyone else is fine, but the book lady's dead and probably going to go to hell. Or maybe her sacrifice didn't cause her to go to hell, or whatever, but that's it. So in a way, it's basically hard to know how in the fuck this even ends. Basically. Now do I have any good qualms with the film, so... Like, anytime when the doll does move around, it lifts in the air one bit. Maybe that was kind of effective, but it was short-lived. A demon's face barges its way to the front of the camera was, I guess, effective as well. And, well, the movie seemed like it was going to start off great. When you saw those 3-minute interviews, it was going to be about those people. And I wish it was, because, I would have liked to see how it went down. I would have liked to see how it built up the first Conjuring film. Like, that's the thing. Like, if we had that, we would have actually had a good movie. But no. So other than those, Annabelle sucks. And I can't believe, it's not the only bad thing The Conjuring is even associated with. Because there's a lot of other bad spin-offs. This, it sadly would have to be associated with. This was not the only one. So in the end, you want to watch a movie about this doll, skip this one and go watch either the second or hell, even the third Annabelle films. Because those are more watchable than this boring turd of a movie is at all. Anyways, that's it for my rant or movie review on Annabelle. If you want to rank Annabelle, here's how I'm going to rank this movie. So overall, if you think you will get more Conjuring-style scares with the spin-off, like what you got with The Conjuring, yeah, no, you won't. So don't watch this and just go straight to Annabelle Creation if you want to see this doll get its own story. Because this is nothing but a cash grab that's made to steal money from fans of The Conjuring. If we're going to rank Annabelle, I'm going to give Annabelle a 4 out of 10. Alright, here we go, people. That officially completes my review for Annabelle, the first film. Finally, that crappy one's done. So you want to know what our next episode is? Our next episode is going to be for the actually good Annabelle movie. Annabelle Creation, the next episode. The only good spin-off, too. For plenty of good reasons. So yeah. Yeah, and I love this little cover, too. This cover is very cool. Very awesome. Yeah. Alright. Now tell me down in the comments down below what you guys think about Annabelle the first film. Whether you actually don't mind this film, or whether you also don't like this film as much as I do. Until then, guys, that will be it for this review and episode. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this, want to see more, don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.